Hi, I'm Krista, and this is episode 1 of my 30-part RVing for Beginners series. Today I'm going to be running through 22 things every RVer should know, but I'm going to be going through them pretty quickly. Each of these is going to get its own dedicated episode where I can really dive deep into that topic. So think of this as your beginner roadmap so that you know what's going to be coming up in this series. Let's dive straight in. Before you buy. Number 1 is don't buy more RV than you need. I know it seems like the bigger the RV, the bigger the adventure, but that's not always the case. So you want to make sure that you're buying a rig that's going to fit the actual lifestyle that you want. Number 2 is weight ratings actually matter. That little number that tells you what your tow vehicle can actually tow, you want to make sure that you pay attention to that. Number 3, a really big thing that you want to keep in mind is that national parks have limits for what size rig is allowed inside. So if you really want to make sure that you're hitting a lot of national parks, make sure that your rig is going to work in most of them. 25 feet and under will fit into about 93% of national parks here in the United States. And so if you're really wanting to make sure that you want to go to a lot of national parks and stay inside the parks, 25 feet is a number that you've got in your head. In episode 4, I will be deep diving into how to choose the right rig because that is an important topic that I want to make sure I cover properly. Number 4 is RV insurance is very different. Coverage is going to depend greatly on what kind of rig you have, as well as how often and how you choose to use it. A full-time RVer is going to have a different type of insurance than somebody who's just a weekend warrior. So RV insurance is definitely going to be something I'm going to be diving more deeply into because that is a question that I get asked quite a bit.
Preparing for your trip.
Before you hit the road on that big adventure, make sure you practice driving your rig around the neighborhood, around places that you're familiar with. It is going to make your stress level so much lower if you already have a little bit of comfort behind that wheel. Number 6 is campgrounds book up early. The entire campground booking process is a little bit crazy because it is not streamlined at all. But don't worry, I've got you covered because I have booked hundreds of campgrounds and I have so many tips for you, so many in fact that I'm going to be covering campground booking in 2 episodes. That's episodes 5 and 6 because I want to make sure that you have a lot less stress in booking campgrounds, and there's a lot of things that I wish I had known when I started booking. Number 7 is your route matters. There is nothing more stressful than getting on a road and realizing that you probably shouldn't be taking your RV on that road. So I've got some tips for you on making sure that you can get to your campground safely and some things that you can do to preemptively make sure that you don't encounter a bridge you can't go under or get to a place where you can't turn around. So I've got a lot of tips for you on that. Number 8 is going to be checking your health insurance and figuring out what kind of out-of-state coverage you have. When you're out adventuring, the last thing you want is to have an emergency on the road only to find out that you're not covered for that because you're not in your home state. So I've learned a lot about that along the way, and I've got some tips for you. Number 9 is when it comes to packing up your RV, less is more, and you're going to need a lot less than you think. There's going to be a lot of things that you think you need that you don't, and then on the flip side of that is there's going to be some things that you didn't realize that you needed that you wished you had. Number 10 is organization inside an RV is really important to keep everything organized. Every single thing needs to have its own space. In episode 7, I've got some organization tips and hacks for you because when you live in a very small space, you need to make sure that you can get around comfortably and don't feel overwhelmed by the clutter. On the road. Number 11 is travel days are going to take longer than you think. Just because it says it's going to take 3 hours to get there, just know it's probably going to be about a half-day adventure. So you want to make sure that those travel days are planned so that you're not stressed out and exhausted by the end of them. Because in all honesty, slow travel is such a better experience. And if you have the time, you're going to want to make sure that you slow travel as much as you can. Number 12 is internet is not guaranteed. I love when RV parks say that they have great internet and then you show up and you can barely stream a movie. And so just know that just because an RV park says they have internet and maybe even advertise they have great internet, it's not guaranteed. And so I've definitely got some tips for you in making sure that, especially if you're working on the road like I do, you're going to make sure you have internet all the time, everywhere, no matter where you are. Number 13 is weather can and will change your plans. You're going to become a bit of a meteorologist when you become an RVer because you're going to be checking that weather constantly. You don't want to travel when the weather is bad, and I've got some tips for you on how to make sure that you don't get stuck in a storm. Number 14 is backing up takes practice and patience. You are not going to be a pro at backing your rig up overnight, and it does take a lot of learning how your rig moves and how the wheelbase moves, and so just know that it's going to take some practice. We've been backing this baby up for over 6 years, and it was not pretty at first, but now we're pretty dang good at it. But it has taken a lot of time because every RV park or campground is going to be just a little bit different. You're going to have some different angles. Some are easy, some are not so easy. And so just know you're not going to be perfect at first, and that's okay. Number 15 is tire maintenance is critical. I'm going to flash a picture on the screen right now. That is how we learned that RVs do not come off the lot with very good tires. So you're going to want to make sure that you replace those tires very quickly, because from what I understand, tires are kind of important at the campground. Number 16 is you're going to want to make sure that for those first few months on the road, while you're still learning everything, that you're following a very detailed setup and breakdown list, because you're going to want to make sure that you don't miss anything. The setup and breakdown process is going to take you quite a bit of time at first, but it does get easier the more you do it, and you're not going to need to refer to that list quite so much the more practice you get. And speaking of a setup or breakdown list, if you're new to RVing, I've got something that's perfect for you. I put together a 30-page guide called the Wandering RV Companion, and it is a fully stocked guide for everything that you're going to need for RVing out on the road and adventuring. Everything from an arrival list to a departure list. I've also got things in there like keeping track of what campground you're going to be staying at and all the information you need for that campground. There's also an important page for all your RV information as far as keeping track of your VIN numbers, your mileage, and all that stuff. There's a fuel log. It's chock full of all the things that you'll need as a new RVer, or even an RVer that's been on the road for a while, because since I've made it, have started using it. And so if that sounds like something that you'd be interested, check the link in the description, because I've got that guide on my Patreon page. And if you are a Tier 3 Patreon member, you get that guide for free as part of your membership. So check the link in the description so you can pick up that guide, because honestly, it is something that I wish I had when I first hit the road. Number 17, do not skip the final walk around. And it's so interesting that I say this, because just this morning I was sitting there eating breakfast and I watched an RV next to us pull out, and they had not put in their handlebar for their RV, and they were driving off with their handlebar sticking out. And so obviously they didn't do their walk around. There are quite a few times where things have been forgotten, whether it's a wheel chock or the cover for the jack. And so doing that walk around before you hit the road is vitally important, and definitely a habit you need to have, and something that should not be skipped. Number 18 is your RV is never going to be completely level. It's just the reality of it, and it's okay. You just want to make sure that it's mostly level. But if you've got cat toys inside, there are times where we're parked at RV spots where they never quite stay in one spot of the RV. They always roll to another corner. Just like homes are never 90-degree angles, RVs are never level. Number 19 is things are going to break on your RV that you didn't even know were breakable. For example, waking up at 4 a.m. to a geyser coming out of the side of your toilet because the foot flush pedal decided to break off. It happens, but if you already expect that things are going to break, it's not going to be that big of a deal when they actually do. And in episode 19, I'm going to be talking about RV maintenance and doing your best to make sure that the things that are important are maintained so that they don't break when you need them the most. Number 20. Bugs and critters and creepy crawlies are going to be part of your everyday life. Case in point, I'm sitting here filming and I got distracted by a massive bug flying around right next to me. Cue that video. The hell is that bug? That thing is huge. Look at the size of this thing. Don't come near me, dude. Please just stay away from me. Oh boy. So if you're afraid of creepy crawlies, just know that you're going to get them inside your RV, but I do have some tricks for you to make sure that you minimize the amount of creepy crawlies that end up in your bed at night. The big picture. I know we've been talking about a lot of the things that can go wrong, but the truth is, number 21, you're going to learn as you go. And that is just part of life. You're going to have things go wrong that you don't even know how to fix until they break, and then you learn how to fix them and you move on. So just know you're going to learn as you go. You don't need to know everything at once, but watching videos like mine is going to help give you a little bit of a toe up on making sure that you are prepared for what the RV life has to offer. Number 22 is my favorite, and it is one of the things that has kept me on the road, and that is the best memories that you're going to have are going to be the ones that are unplanned. I am a planner and I plan things out quite a bit, but there are times where we go on adventures that were just sort of last minute, not really something I looked into, and they end up being some of my favorite ones. So when you live this life, everything is about making memories, creating memories, and holding on to those memories. And this little beauty right behind me, this RV, whatever your RV is going to be the vessel that takes you on those wonderful adventures and helps you capture your own beautiful memories. And so there you go. That is 22 things that you should know before hitting the road, but I have barely scratched the surface on them. And this series is going to dive so deep into all of them, you're gonna be so well prepared for your journey. If any of these have sparked any questions that you have right now, please comment below. Let me know what those questions are. I am definitely more than happy to answer them in the comments, or I am gonna be dedicating episode 29 to all of your most commonly asked questions. I wanna make sure that this is the most helpful for you and I answer every question that you might have. These aren't all the topics I'm going to be talking about. I am going to be covering safety, traveling with animals, traveling with a significant other, costs and unexpected expenses, campground etiquette. I'm going to be covering everything. So make sure you click subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And for the next 30 Saturdays, you're gonna get to see me talking about something that I love, which is RVing, the RV life, and all of the ups and downs it brings with it. I'm Krista. If you're new here, welcome, and thank you so much for being here. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to spending the next 30 Saturdays with you talking about something that I love dearly, and that is the RV life. And I've got a video of my favorite RV gadgets that are very important that we use all the time, and they don't break the bank because they're all under $10. Check the description so you can check out that video. And next Saturday, episode 2 is gonna drop where I am debunking a lot of the myths that are floating around about RV life. You're gonna wanna make sure to click subscribe so that you can check that out and don't miss that video. Thank you so much for being here. I am so happy to share this adventure with you, and I will see you on the next adventure. Bye. Oh, bugs, stay away from me. Oh, geez. Oh, go away. Oh, God. Go away. Oh, my geez. Oh, geez.